They said she should smile more. They said she should soften her tone, lower her voice, and take up less space. They said she should be grateful for crumbs of validation, for scraps of attention, for being noticed at all. But the Sigma female? She refuses to be molded into society's object of comfort, convenience, or decoration. She is not here to be someone's ornament or shadow. She is here to live unapologetically, and she demands respect. Before we dive deep, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on these raw truths about Sigma psychology that most people are too afraid to say out loud. Now let's begin. The world has always had a script for women. Be quiet, be polite, be desirable, be whatever they need you to be. But Sigma females, they throw that script in the fire. They write their own story. And in doing so, they make people deeply uncomfortable because nothing terrifies society more than a woman who refuses to be controlled. You see, when a Sigma female walks into a room, she does not seek validation through looks or approval. She doesn't dress, speak, or move to be liked. She carries herself with an energy that says, I am not here for your entertainment, I am here for me. That energy alone is a direct rebellion against centuries of conditioning that treated women as objects. Let's get real for a moment. The world has made a habit of objectifying women, turning them into images, into symbols, into property. And many women, pressured by this environment, fall into the trap of playing along because it feels safer. But the Sigma female, she sees the trap, she sees the manipulation, and she tears it apart piece by piece. She will never beg for a seat at a table that was built to silence her. She will build her own table. And guess what? That terrifies people. Society expects women to prove their worth through appearance. Pretty face, slim waist, flawless smile. But a Sigma female's worth has nothing to do with what you see. Her worth lives in her mind, in her resilience, in her unshakable independence. And because she refuses to be objectified, some will call her cold, arrogant, or too much. But those labels are nothing more than defense mechanisms from people who can't handle a woman who doesn't need their approval. And here's the brutal truth. A Sigma female would rather be hated for her authenticity than loved for her obedience. She knows that respect without freedom is worthless. She doesn't care if the world misunderstands her, because she isn't living for their validation in the first place. Now let's dig even deeper into the psychology of why Sigma females refuse to be objects. First, she understands the power of autonomy. Many people surrender control over their lives to fit in. They give up their dreams, shrink their voices, and conform. But a Sigma female guards her independence with fire. She knows that once you give society permission to define you, they will reduce you to nothing but a label, an object, a commodity. So she never plays that game. Second, she knows the price of respect. Respect is not handed out freely. It is commanded through action, through consistency, through refusing to compromise your values. And that's exactly what Sigma females do. They don't demand respect through anger or loudness. They demand it through presence, through the way they live, the way they walk away from anyone who tries to minimize them, the way they protect their dignity like it's sacred. Third, she recognizes manipulation for what it is. Society often disguises objectification as compliments. They'll say, "You're beautiful when you're quiet," or "You're attractive when you're submissive." But Sigma females see the strings behind these words. They know flattery can be poison if it's meant to silence them. And so they cut those strings without hesitation. But here's what makes the Sigma female truly powerful. She doesn't just resist objectification. She flips it back on the system. She turns rejection into fuel. She turns disrespect into strength. Every attempt to minimize her only makes her louder, sharper, and more unstoppable. This is why people label her as intimidating. Not because she is aggressive, but because she cannot be controlled. Society thrives on control. If they can't control you, they will fear you. And that fear is often disguised as hate. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a group of people in a room. Everyone is nodding, agreeing, smiling, just to keep the peace. Then a Sigma female walks in and refuses to play along. She challenges the false harmony, questions the rules, and demands authenticity. Suddenly, she becomes the enemy, not because she's wrong, but because she's unafraid to break the illusion. That's the essence of why Sigma females refuse to be objects. They expose truths that others would rather ignore. And here's the secret most people don't want to admit. Deep down, they respect her. Even the ones who criticize her, mock her, or call her difficult, they secretly admire the courage it takes to walk alone, to refuse validation, to live without fear of being disliked. That's why her presence is magnetic, because in a world of conformity, she is freedom personified. Now let's talk about relationships, because this is where the Sigma female's refusal to be objectified is most evident. She will never settle for a partner who treats her as a trophy, an accessory, or a possession. She would rather walk through life alone than tie herself to someone who sees her as less than an equal. This terrifies many people, because society conditions women to believe that their value lies in who they belong to. But a Sigma female flips that narrative. She belongs to no one but herself. And here's the irony. When she finally does choose someone, it's not because she needs them. It's because she wants them. And that choice carries far more power than dependency ever could. Now let's expose another uncomfortable truth. Society does not reward women for being independent. It rewards them for compliance. That's why Sigma females often face backlash, isolation, and criticism. But here's where the story changes. She doesn't crumble under that pressure. She thrives in it. She uses it as a test of strength, a way to sharpen her character, a reminder that the world only pushes back when you're on the path of real transformation. Sigma females are not fragile. They are resilient, adaptive, strategic. And because they refuse to be objects, they are often misunderstood. People will call them rebels, loners, or difficult personalities. But all those labels are simply the price of refusing to fit into a box that was never meant to honor them in the first place. So let's strip this down to the core truth. Sigma females don't beg for respect, they redefine it. Respect to them is not about compliments or admiration. It's about being treated as a human being with voice, power, and dignity. And if the world refuses to give them that respect willingly, they will carve it out themselves. This is why the Sigma female archetype is not just a personality type. It's a revolution. It represents every woman who has ever refused to play small, every woman who has walked away from toxic expectations, every woman who chose self-respect over social approval. And that's the message the world needs to hear. Sigma females are not objects. They are not here to decorate someone else's life. They are not here to be silenced, shamed, or tamed. They are here to live with power, with independence, and with an unshakable demand for respect. So the next time someone tries to reduce a Sigma female to an object, remember this. She will not bend, she will not beg, and she will never apologize for being more than what society is comfortable with. She will stand tall, speak truth, and break the rules of a world that was built to hold her down. Because Sigma females don't just demand respect, they embody it, and that is why society fears them.